Well, I want to add a me too on the hydro. We heard very, very clearly from Secretary Chu, this was several years ago, that the potential for additional renewable energy, any power brought online because of hydropower, it's just so untapped. And yet, when we look at the budgets, it just doesn't appear to reflect any of that. With the cuts to the water power program, as I mentioned in my opening statements and as the chairman has just noted, you've got a request of $55 million for the water power program. You compare this to $356.5 million for solar, $144 million for wind, and yet the area where everyone agrees we have so much potential for growth is hydro, and we're looking at a request of $55 million. I think you've heard the concerns expressed here by the chairman and myself. So I don't know, we will keep pushing on this. In fact, we've got a hearing, Mr. Chairman, right, I think next week, yes, on how we can move out hydropower. The House, in an amazing display of partisanship, passed their hydro bill with not one member in opposition to it. We want to advance something on this side, too. We think that this is an opportunity where the President can actually sign something into law. But it doesn't seem that there's the level of priority coming out of the administration on this. How much is the department proposing should go for marine hydrokinetic technologies, and how much for conventional hydropower research? Do you know that breakdown?
I can get it for you very quickly.
You?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm curious in knowing what types of programs and projects DOE is going to focus on within this water power program. So if you can get me that breakdown, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Now, the chairman has also been talking about the great potential that we have for natural gas. The focus is this committee is going to place on all aspects of the natural gas sector here through our roundtables coming up. We've had a lot of discussion in this committee about exports, and we've got pending before the department currently, we've got 20 applications for licenses to export LNG. The bulk of these applications are to send LNG to countries that don't have a free trade agreement. From a budget perspective, are you all including funding levels sufficient to ensure the timely review of these applications? And I guess I'm asking also for the timeline, if you have that for review of these applications.
Thank you, Senator. If I might just quickly address the first part of your question. We do strongly agree on the importance of hydro. Obviously, I would note that the $55 million that you've noted for fiscal 14 is actually an increase from $20 million in 13.
But it still looks pretty meager when you compare it to wind and solar.
I certainly take your point, Senator. The breakdown is between marine hydrokinetic is $39 million, and traditional hydro is $15 million in the current fiscal 14 request of the 55. On your second question regarding the LNG exports, we do believe the department is adequately staffed to process those. As you know, we've gotten almost 200,000 comments in this two-round comment process that we've had. They've been working very actively on sorting through those comments, and I think we're very soon going to be in a position to start making decisions based on the record, all the documents that have been supplied.
So when you say very soon, within a period of months, what do you anticipate?
Senator, they're working through them as quickly as they responsibly can. I don't have a date certain. I wouldn't think it would be months.
Okay. One more question for you, and I raised this in my opening statement, and this is relating to what the President is referring to as his Energy Security Trust. As I mentioned, I've had a proposal out there that we're calling the Advanced Energy Trust Fund. Same type of concept, but the real key difference is how you pay for it. Can you explain exactly how the administration intends to pay for its proposal? If you're not opening up any new lands for development, are you proposing deficit spending? Will there be less money for Land Water Conservation Fund? Where do you figure you're going to get this seed money for the Energy Security Trust?
Senator, my understanding was that the money, the $2 billion for that Energy Security Trust, would come out of the royalty revenues from the federal lands that are used to develop those resources.
But those revenues are already going to help fund other aspects of our budget. So you're then taking them away from those projects and programs, and you're putting them into your trust fund. I got that. But then how do you fund the other things that you've been paying for out of your rents and royalties?
Well, Senator, my understanding, and of course the licensing of those federal lands falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Interior, was that there are licenses that will be granted that will generate these royalties. But to give you a specific breakdown, and if there are puts and takes between existing and new licenses, I would have to get back to you.
Well, I'd like to see exactly how that's proposed.
I'm happy to provide that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Going back and